Hello viewers, welcome to our channel Career Prep. In this video, we'll solve a few problems on the topic simple interest where you have to calculate the rate of interest. Since questions based on this topic are most frequently asked in competitive exams, it makes sense to understand the concept well. Questions are dealt with in this video along with clear explanations to make you understand the concept clearly. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to get notifications as soon as we post a new video. So let's start. Finding rate of interest. The types of questions that are asked in competitive exams on this topic are: Type 1 is questions where the principal, amount, simple interest, time are given. Type 2 is questions where a sum of money multiplies in a certain number of years. Type 3 is questions where the sum or difference or equality in simple interest or amount or rate of interest or time is given. Let's solve a few problems on each of these types. Let's solve a few problems of type 1. Type 1 is questions where principal, simple interest and time are given and you have to find the rate of interest. A sum of rupees 1600 gives a simple interest of rupees 252 in 2 years and 3 months. What is the rate of interest per annum? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So it's given that the principal is rupees 1600. Time is 2 years, 3 months. Now convert this 3 months to years by dividing it with 12. So you have 2 3 by 12. And on simplification gives 2 1 by 4, which is nothing but 9 by 4 years. Simple interest is given as rupees 252 and you have to find the rate of interest per annum. Now rate of interest can be found out using the formula R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now substituting all these values in the formula here, we get R is equal to 100 multiplied by 252 divided by 1600 multiplied by 9 by 4. On solving this, we get R is equal to 7. So rate of interest per annum is 7%. The correct answer is option D, 7%. A sum of money becomes 7/6 of itself in 3 years at a certain rate of simple interest. Find the rate of interest per annum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here you are asked to find the rate of interest per annum. So use the formula R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now it's given that time is 3 years, but we do not know what is simple interest and what is the principal. So let's assume that the principal is P, and then first let's find out what is the simple interest. So let's assume that the principal is P and it's given that the principal becomes 7/6 of itself in 3 years. So amount is equal to 7 by 6 multiplied by P. Now we know that simple interest is equal to amount minus principal. So substituting these two values in the equation here, we get SI is equal to 7P divided by 6 minus P. On solving this, we get simple interest as P by 6. So now we know that simple interest is P by 6, principal is P, and time is 3 years. Substituting all these values in the formula here, we get R is equal to 100 multiplied by P by 6 divided by P multiplied by 3. On solving this, we get R is equal to 50 by 9%, which is nothing but 5 by 9%. So the rate of interest per annum is 5 by 9%. The correct answer is option A, 5 by 9%. Reena took a loan of rupees 1,200 with simple interest for as many years as the rate of interest. If she paid rupees 432 as interest at the end of the loan period, what was the rate of interest? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here you are asked to find the rate of interest. Now the formula to find the rate of interest is R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now it's given that P is equal to rupees 1,200 and SI is equal to rupees 432. It's given that Reena took a loan for as many years as the rate of interest. So if rate of interest is R%, then time is R years. Now substituting all these values in the formula here, we get R is equal to 100 multiplied by 432 divided by 1200 multiplied by R. On solving this, we get 12R squared is equal to 432. So R squared is equal to 36, which means R is equal to square root of 36, which is 6. So rate of interest is 6%. The correct answer is option B, 6. The simple interest on a sum of money is 8/25 of the sum. If the number of years is numerically half the rate percent per annum, then what is the rate percent per annum? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of the options is correct. So here you have to find the rate percent per annum. To do that, use the formula R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now it's given that the simple interest on a sum of money is 8/25 of the sum. Now here we do not know what is the sum of money. So let the sum of money be P, that is let the principal be P. So simple interest will be 8/25 of the sum, that is 8 by 25 multiplied by P, which is nothing but 8P by 25. Now it's given that the number of years is numerically half the rate percent per annum. This means that if rate is R% per annum, then time is R by 2 years. Now substituting all these values in the formula here, we get R is equal to 100 multiplied by 8P by 25 divided by P multiplied by R by 2. On solving this, we get R is equal to 64 by R, which is nothing but R squared is equal to 64. So R is equal to square root of 64, which is 8. So the rate of interest is 8% per annum. The correct answer is option A, 8. At what rate percent per annum will the simple interest on a sum of money be 2/5 of the amount in 10 years? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here you have to find out what is the rate percent per annum. Now it's given in the question that the simple interest on a sum of money becomes 2/5 of the amount in 10 years. Now here we do not know what is the simple interest or what is the amount. So first let's find out what is the simple interest using the formula SI is equal to PRT divided by 100. Now we do not know what is the principal. So let's assume that the principal is P. We also do not know what is the rate of interest. So let the rate of interest be R%. Now it's given that T is equal to 10 years. Now substituting all this in the formula here, we get SI is equal to P multiplied by R multiplied by 10 divided by 100, which is nothing but SI is equal to PR by 10. Now we know that amount is equal to principal plus simple interest. So amount is equal to P plus PR by 10. So now we know that simple interest is PR by 10 and amount is P plus PR by 10. Now in the question it's given that the simple interest becomes 2/5 of the amount. So according to the question, PR by 10 is equal to 2 by 5 multiplied by P plus PR by 10. Now here you can take the P as common factor. So now you have PR by 10 is equal to 2 by 5 multiplied by P multiplied by 1 plus R by 10. Now the P on the left hand side and the P on the right hand side gets cancelled and you're left with R by 10 is equal to 2 by 5 multiplied by 1 is 2 by 5 plus 2 by 5 multiplied by R by 10 is R by 25. So now you have R by 10 is equal to 2 by 5 plus R by 25. On solving this, you get R is equal to 100 by 15, which is nothing but 6 2 by 3. So rate of interest per annum is 6 2 by 3% per annum. So the correct answer is option C, 6 2 by 3%. Let's solve a few problems of type 2. Type 2 is questions where a sum of money multiplies in a certain number of years. At what percent of simple interest will a sum of money double itself in 15 years? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here you have to find out the rate percent per annum. You can find the rate percent per annum using the formula R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now here you do not know what is the simple interest, what is the principal, but it's given in the question that T is 15 years. So first let's find out what is the simple interest. Now it's given that the sum of money doubles itself in 15 years. Here we do not know what is the sum of money. That is, we do not know what is the principal. So let's assume that the principal is rupees X. Now it's given that in 15 years, the principal doubles itself. So now the amount becomes rupees 2X. Now, if principal is rupees X, then the simple interest has to be rupees X. Only then the amount can be rupees 2X. So, simple interest is also rupees X. Now we know that principal is rupees X, simple interest is rupees X, and time is given as 15 years. So substituting all these in the formula here, we get R is equal to 100 multiplied by X divided by X multiplied by 15. On solving this, we get R is equal to 100 divided by 15, which is nothing but 6 2 by 3. So the rate of interest is 6 2 by 3% per annum. The correct answer is option A, 6 2 by 3%. A sum of money at a certain rate per annum of simple interest doubles in 5 years and at a different rate becomes 3 times in 12 years. Find the lower rate of interest per annum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here you are asked to find the lower rate of interest per annum. Now it's given that the sum gets doubled at a certain rate in 5 years and becomes 3 times at a different rate in 12 years. Now you have to understand one thing here. The sum gets doubled at a certain rate in 5 years. Now at this rate, the sum becomes 3 times of itself in 10 years. So the sum takes 10 years to become 3 times of itself at this rate. Now it's given that at a different rate, the sum takes 12 years to become three times of itself. So clearly this means that the rate of interest for 12 years is lower. Now here we are asked to find the lower rate of interest per annum. Now we can find the lower rate of interest per annum using the formula R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now we do not know what is the simple interest here, what is the principal, but it's given in the question that uh, time is equal to 12 years. So first let's find out what is the simple interest. Now since we do not know what is the principal, let's assume that the principal is rupees X. Now it's given that in 12 years the principal becomes 3 times of itself. That is, the amount is rupees 3x. Now if principal is rupees x, then the interest has to be 2x. Only then the amount can be 3x. So now we know that the principal is rupees x, the interest is rupees 2x, and time is 12 years. Now substituting these values in the formula here, we get R is equal to 100 multiplied by 2x divided by x multiplied by 2. On solving this, we get R is equal to 16 2 by 3. So the rate of interest is 16 2 by 3% per annum. The correct answer is option C, 16 2 by 3%. Let's solve a few problems of type 3. Type 3 is questions where the sum or the difference or the equality in simple interest, amount or rate of interest or time is given. A and B borrowed rupees 3000 and rupees 3200 respectively at the same rate of interest for 2.5 years. If B paid rupees 40 more interest than A, find the rate of interest. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So as you can see here, the difference in the simple interest is given here. Now it's also given that A's principal is rupees 3000, B's principal is rupees 3200, and they borrowed at the same rate of interest for 2.5 years. So the rate of interest is the same for both and we're asked to find the rate of interest. So let's assume that the rate of interest is R% per annum. It's given that time is 2.5 years, which is nothing but 5 by 2 years. Now it's also given that B paid rupees 40 more interest than A. This means the simple interest paid by B minus the simple interest paid by A is equal to rupees 40. Now we know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. So according to the question, 3200 multiplied by R multiplied by 5 by 2 divided by 100, which is the simple interest paid by B, minus 3000 multiplied by R multiplied by 5 by 2 divided by 100, which is the simple interest paid by A, is equal to 40. On solving this equation, we get R is equal to 8, which means the rate of interest is 8% per annum. So the correct answer is option D, 8%. A certain sum of money amounts to rupees 756 in 2 years and to rupees 873 in 3.5 years at a certain rate of simple interest. Find the rate of interest per annum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So as you can see here, the amount for 2 years and the amount for 3.5 years is different. Now, since this is a case of simple interest, it means that the principal is the same for both these cases. So The difference in the amount in these two cases has to be because the simple interest for 3.5 years is different from the simple interest for 2 years. Now, since the rate of interest is the same for both these cases, it means that the simple interest for 3.5 years minus the simple interest for 2 years is equal to rupees 873 minus rupees 756. This means simple interest for 1.5 years is equal to rupees 117. Now 1.5 years is nothing but 3 by 2 years. So 3 by 2 simple interest for 3 by 2 years is rupees 117. Now here we are asked to find the rate of interest per annum, which can be found out using the formula R is equal to 100 multiplied by SI divided by PT. Now, if we consider the first case, we know that time is given as 2 years. Now, if we find out the simple interest for 2 years, then we can easily find out the principal. And using these values we can find the rate of interest using this formula. So first let's find out the simple interest for 2 years. Now we have found out that the simple interest for 3 by 2 years is rupees 117. So simple interest for 2 years is 2 multiplied by 117 divided by 3 by 2. On solving this, we get simple interest for 2 years is rupees 156. Now we know that the amount for 2 years is rupees 756 and we have found out that the simple interest for 2 years is rupees 156. So since principal is equal to A minus SI, the principal is equal to 756 minus 156, which is rupees 600. So now we know that principal is rupees 600, time is 2 years and simple interest is rupees 156. So substituting these values in the formula here, we can find the rate of interest. So R is equal to 100 multiplied by 156 divided by 600 multiplied by 2. On solving this, we get R is equal to 13, which means the rate of interest per annum is 13%. So the correct answer is option C, 13%. A lent rupees 5,000 to B for 2 years and rupees 3,000 to C for 4 years on simple interest at the same rate of interest and received rupees 2,200 in all from both as interest. Find the rate of interest per annum. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So as you can see here, the sum of the simple interest in both the cases is given in this question. And we are asked to find the rate of interest per annum. Now it's given that A lent rupees 5,000 to B for 2 years and he lent rupees 3,000 to C for 4 years on simple interest at the same rate of interest. So the rate of interest per annum for B and C is the same. So let the rate of interest per annum be R%. Now it's given that A received rupees 2,200 in all from both as interest. This means the simple interest received by A from B plus the simple interest received by A from C is equal to rupees 2,200. Now we know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. So according to the question, 5,000 multiplied by R multiplied by 2 divided by 100, which is the simple interest received by A from B, plus 3,000 multiplied by R multiplied by 4 divided by 100, which is the simple interest received by A from C is equal to 2200. Now on solving this, we get R is equal to 10. So rate of interest per annum is 10%. The correct answer is option C, 10%. The simple interest on rupees 4,000 in 3 years at the rate of X% per annum equals the simple interest on rupees 5,000 at the rate of 12% per annum in 2 years. Find the value of X. Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here in this question, the equality in the simple interest in both the cases is given. Here we are asked to find the value of X. We know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. Now according to the question, 4,000 multiplied by X multiplied by 3 divided by 100, which is the simple interest at the rate of X% per annum, is equal to 5,000 multiplied by 12 multiplied by 2 divided by 100, which is the simple interest at the rate of 12% per annum. On solving this, we get X is equal to 10, which means X is equal to 10%. The rate of interest is equal to 10% per annum. So the correct answer is option B, 10%. The difference between the simple interest received from two different sources on rupees 1,500 for 3 years is rupees 13.50. What is the difference between their rates of interest? Here you are given 4 options and you have to find out which of these options is the correct one. So here in this question, the difference between the simple interest from two different sources is given. Now, as per this question, we can understand that the principal and the time for both the sources is the same. So, the difference in the simple interest is because the rate of interest is different for the two different sources. Now, here we are asked to find the difference between the rates of interest of the two sources. So, let's assume that R1 and R2 are the rates of interest of the first and the second source. Now it's given that the difference between the simple interest received from the two different sources is rupees 13.50. This means the simple interest received from the first source minus the simple interest received from the second source is equal to rupees 13.50. Now we know that simple interest is equal to PRT divided by 100. So according to the question, 1500 multiplied by R1 multiplied by 3 divided by 100, which is the simple interest received from the first source, minus 1500 multiplied by R2 multiplied by 3 divided by 100, which is the simple interest received from the second source, is equal to 13.50. Now on solving this equation, we get R1 minus R2 is equal to 0.3%. So the difference between the rates of interest is 0.3%. The correct answer is option D, 0.3%. Viewers, please go through this video till you have understood the concept. Practice more such problems to increase your speed and also to understand the concept clearly. Please do watch our video on simple interest for solved problems on finding the time. If you have liked this video, please like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you.